I'm starting to write up my own instruction manuals for my Lego builds, and I was trying to figure out ways to do it, so I decided to start with an actual Lego manual such as this. Now this video is intended as safe for work. This is for adults, so I'm letting it be known. So first thing is we have a cover page, and when I'm going to do my own building guides, I'm actually going to do the same thing. I'm going to have the project be in here, and for at the top I may put like a name of the project and maybe my logo. So I won't be using Lego because that would be I'd be invading on their trademark. Now for stuff like this, I think we all know how to do this stuff. I'm not going to worry about reproducing this. Alright, because I was going to have Jay the Surfer in there. And for stuff like this, it talks about bag 1. Well, we're not going to be doing bags because these are just PDF instructions. But the way that they have all this set up, so maybe do like book 1, book 2, book 3, maybe like an index. So it'll tell you stuff like this of what we're going to be doing. That's not too hard. I've already figured that out. I already wrote up a little quick program for that one. And of course, let's start looking at building instructions for stuff like this. Let's say I were to build a minifigure. I already have this figured out how to do the arrows. Okay, so that's not too bad. Now for stuff like this with steps, with the boxes and everything, I'm not too sure if I want to use this or not. But as you can see right here, there's a lot of wasted space in these manuals. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shove this underneath, and I might be able to fit maybe 6 or 8 steps on a page. The goal of this is to keep it very, very compact. Unless it's something really big, then we're going to have to take up the whole page on this. So I'm going to be doing these type of boxes here as well. So, and by the time we're done with that, you know, let's say we're doing, let's see if I can find an example. Like right here we have a sub-step right here. I'm actually figuring out how to do this. I have to come in and do these separate, so that's kind of a bit of a pain. But there's one thing that I'm really kind of stumped on. And I already have my very first manual pretty much written up. I already have, it's 29 pieces. I got all the steps done. But this is the part that I'm stuck on right here, is a parts list. Now, the way Lego has this, I don't understand why. Maybe they do things by part color, and then they do everything by element ID. And that's fine. But the way that they have this done, first I thought maybe they were putting these inside of individual cells. But if you look at this 1x16 brick, it kind of bleeds into the adjacent cells, so it's in its neighbor's yard. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. But there's one thing that's missing in here is the element ID, or the design ID, I'm sorry. The element ID carries the information of the block style and the color. The design ID is just like, let's say I were to type in this 2x8 brick. Alright, I use the design ID. It'll come up with every color of that brick. So I may put that in my manual. So let's say someone's building one of my builds and they say, oh, I don't like, Jay used gray, I want to use pink or something like that. You can go in there and change all those parts out real quick, so you can see if the parts are available. I've been thinking about doing that. Also, it's really hard, especially for me. I can, with this blue background, I guess that's what you call it. Sometimes these part numbers are a bit difficult to see, so I'm going to see if I can change that up. Especially when you get to bigger parts like this becomes a space waster right here. So I'm not sure how I want to do it, because look, you got all this wasted space, but then again they have everything in nice columns. So I'm not really sure how I want to do this. If anybody's got any suggestions, let me know. Where are these manuals going to be stored at? I'm sorry to say this, but they're going to be on Patreon. I don't know where to host these files at, and hosting files can get expensive, especially there's 2 factors. First, the file size, And of course there's data. You know, if you got a lot of visitors downloading files, it starts costing money. So I'm going to be doing those on Patreon. Now don't worry, if you want to see a sample of my instructions, I'll let you guys and gals know. I'll probably do a video on my very first sample instructions, and I'll have a copy that you can download from Patreon for free. So to give you an example of what I'm going to be doing. There's one more thing that I want to do. This has been a request, is to actually have a downloadable XML sheet for other websites to utilize those parts, and you can put it up, let's say like in BrickLink for example, you put the XML sheet in there and it'll come up with all the parts that tutorial requires. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing with that. But that's the thing, is it's going to be 2 different downloads. I do get requests from time to time to sell my instructions individually, so I may end up putting them on other web services like maybe Etsy or something like that. Maybe Amazon. So that's pretty much about it. As far as for the back cover, I don't know if there'll even be a back cover. This is just kind of like, maybe it shows you like with other things. Well, we don't really care about that. So it's only going to be a couple of things. I'm working on a template for the front cover, but all the meat inside here has already been figured out. So, you know, but just starting into writing up my own manuals, I'm going to tell you, it's 10 times tougher than doing video tutorials. Now, I'd rather do video tutorials than manuals, but with this whole new YouTube thing, I cannot do that anymore. But if anybody's got any help or improvements or how I should do these manuals, let me know. I don't want to just completely rip off Lego style, because I want to come up with my own. And if you've seen my tutorials, you know how I got the parts list at the bottom, or even been to my website. It's missing the pictures. So let's go back in here again, like I said though. If I decide to do the parts list, I'm not going to include what the part, like the description of the part. I think the picture is just enough. Pictures are worth 1,000 words, right? So this is just an example of a manual, and no, there won't be any printed manuals. You won't be able to buy an actual physical copy, like a paper copy, like a hard copy. It'll be PDF, and I'm going to see if I can get it to work from my tablet and stuff. Like, I hadn't even published this manual yet. I hadn't done anything with it. I'm still working on it. So the manual that I'm working on right now, I can't really show it to you, but I'm still building stuff out of real brick. I'm not going to stray away from any of this stuff. So to go in there, maybe write up an Excel type document to put the parts in, or to write up something freehand out of Java is going to be tough, but hopefully by the end of the year I will have something that's working. And like I said, if you guys and gals are interested in seeing a sample of the instructions, let me know, and I will produce something that you can download. And if you like it, you can join my Patreon. There'll be more, because I'm going to use Patreon basically for building instructions at this point. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. So if anybody's got any ideas, let me know on this. If not, I'll come up with something really cool. I'm just trying to, I need to brainstorm this